Hey, everybody. Welcome to Don't Make Me Come Back There. We are a funny podcast about family. My name is Dustin Nickerson. I'm a stand-up comedian and the host of the aforementioned podcast. And alongside me in our state-of-the-art recording studio above Public Square Coffee in downtown La Mesa, California is my lovely wife, my co-host, my CFO, and my best friend, Melissa Nickerson.
Oh, that
Cheers.
was terrible.
Cheers. Well, yours is empty because you pounded yours like a psycho.
Delicious.
And producer Andy Lara. It's his wife's Mercedes' birthday today. Happy birthday,
Happy
Mercedes.
40th.
Happy birthday.
40th.
40.
Woo.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Well,
Well,
did you give her an over-the-hill card like it's the 90s?
Lordy,
was
lordy.
that actually 40 or was it
Look
50?
who's 40.
I remember that being like
No,
when
it
you were
was 40.
50.
I think it was 40.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, like everything would be black.
Yeah.
You know?
It was a funeral.
Oh, yeah.
like it was pretty much like congrats on being dead.
Yeah.
That's how we used to treat
You get like Grim
when our
Reaper,
parents
like
turned 40.
cards and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
I remember, there's some various cartoon ones, too, you know.
It's like so sinister. And
I know. It's just, I guess it's over now.
Yeah.
There were a lot of cartoon cards. Yeah, in the 90s. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some cows, little cow cards. I just, in my close my
Yes.
mind, I picture, when I think of a birthday card in the 90s, I see two cartoon cows talking.
Far Side, was that?
Yeah, very
one of-
Far Side
Far
inspired.
Side.
One
Yeah.
box.
That little known fact about me, I love when animals are depicted as with human personalities and personification. Man, a card like that just gets me tickled
ya?
in all the best ways.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. I used to read
So
those
silly.
Sunday comics like every Sunday morning.
That was our TikTok.
That
back
was
in
our
the day,
TikTok.
we had the,
we're like, we got this page of funnies. Yeah.
You don't need TikTok. I can read the back of this Kix box. Kix didn't make it, did it? That cereal didn't make it,
Still
right?
around.
It
but
is.
It's not very popular.
Kicks that to the curb. Sorry. The espresso hasn't
It's
hit yet.
remotely popular. I don't know. It's on the shelf. I was still thinking about comic book art.
Yeah.
You know?
I'd
and
move
now we're talking
7
about cereal.
topics. 7 topics on.
TikTok.
I was about to do a bit. Mel, if you'd eat one cereal, the rest
Ah, no.
What was the...
No.
You did one in the car. I asked a question you
it's
refused
terrible.
to do. What was it? It was like...
Oh.
You remember?
You asked me a question I wouldn't answer?
Yeah. Well, in the
Oh.
car, I was doing... we were asking the whole group something. And you were...
Oh, with the kids?
Yeah.
Was it ice cream?
Might have been ice cream related. But the point is, I set up a prompt and we all
Yeah.
asked it. And then you did some variation of it, which was like, well, that's not really the spirit of where... It's like,
Yeah,
if you can
I
only have
believe
one
you.
ice cream flavor, and you're like, I don't think you should eat ice cream every day. You're like, well, that's not really what we're doing here, Melissa.
I thought you were going to mention my Melism.
Oh, you did have a new one today
I had
that
a
you
new one.
thought was really funny.
Oh,
What was it?
I don't even remember
I thought
what
it was funny because
I merged
you
two
merged
phrases.
popular psychology and psychobabble.
Psychobabble. And I did Popular Babble. Or no, it was
did you not-
Psychobabular. So bad.
Psychobabbler. Sorry. It's very good.
Psychobabble, popular culture. Merged.
Go ahead
Psychobabular.
and could you use that in a sentence, please?
Yeah.
No, I couldn't.
That's a tough one.
Psychobabular. I believe that was a dinosaur. The Babulosaurus Rex. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate you. We got lots to get to today.
We do.
I'm
Sorry,
not-
Oops. I'm totally jumping over you. Just to plug the Patreon
You
Zoom.
and your psychobabbler.
Babular.
Babular.
It's like tubular. Okay.
All right. Mel's coming
I'm
in weird
sorry,
today. I
I'm
like
sorry. I want to promote our Zoom hang on April 22nd.
it. That's coming up. 422.
That's for our patrons. Give a little more, get a little more to the podcast.
Nice.
And we give you guys behind the scenes each week from the podcast and extra content and early access to things and meet and greets at shows, etc., etc.
I just want to, Mel.
Is that the worst pitch ever?
Nope. I just want to let you know it's been an elaborate 4-year prank, and I'm revealing today on our April Fools we've never had a Patreon.
Then who am I shipping all this stuff to?
Exactly. It's very elaborate. It's incredibly
You're trying to get me to go to the post office every other week.
Yep. Very elaborate. I have 15 people that just show up on our Zoom hangs, 15 to 20. It's actually growing now. These fake meet and greets.
It's a non-Patreon.
I know, but
you built a platform.
I've been siphoning money into our account. It's been very, very elaborate. So
sounds like a tax issue.
Yeah, which you need more of right now. Mel is in a tax web right now.
My head. I don't know.
Under your head. Underwater, I'm over my head.
I'm in so deep.
Under my head.
Under my head.
So funny.
Yesterday.
That's so much better than psychopath. Do you know which ones you merged there? I just said them. I'm underwater.
I gotta write it down.
And I'm in over my head.
Under my head.
I am under my head.
I did.
Mel's in under her head.
I've not been
your chin? You've been sleeping great.
Shut up.
You sleep.
I'll kill you.
The best in the house.
Up.
Every night.
That's not true. You know that.
Mel's been. I say she live streams on Twitch. She's just twitching all night, which, in the middle it was like 3 a.m. the other day. I was like, "Are you okay?" Shaking over there. All right. And just murmurs from the corner. And then now I realize, now that you've told everybody, that I didn't realize, you were in under your head.
I'm in under my head. And yesterday my accountant called me back and he was like, "This is terribly bad."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, well, you never want to hear your accountant say that."
Well, it's because that elaborate Patreon April Fool's prank of mine.
It's all coming back.
It's all coming back.
Just like accountants aren't dramatic.
Yeah.
And they're direct.
So it just comes off offensive.
So when they are dramatic, we're like, okay.
The issue is our son has a little small business and he's a minor, and that tax stuff gets complicated. So as far as we know, no one's going to jail. If anybody will, it'll be Joel. I mean, I got a budding career I got to handle, and you got to watch the other kids, so Joel's the only choice.
They're going to let us pick?
Yeah, I think that's how jail works. Mm-hmm. You guys have been leaving us reviews on Spotify and comments on YouTube, which I appreciate. Don't forget to leave reviews, 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts, which is where most of you listen. So go hit 5 stars, type a little something why you love the podcast. If you don't want to think of anything, just say Mel said it didn't have to be funny. So go do that. Right now, maybe text this pod to somebody. Maybe just hit that little share icon. Do whatever it is you do in your life to help spread the word. Either way, Backseaters, thanks for tuning in. You can always send us emails at don'tmakemecomebackthere@gmail.com. This one right here is from Cindy, who's a real friend of the pod. Award-winning Nutter Butter Pie recipe. I'm going to let you read this, Melissa, because I think you're better at reading recipes than me.
Dustin and Mel, since we're talking snack brackets, I'd like to go to the next level. Here is the recipe I've used to win an award at our church social, a Baptist one, so those guys like to eat.
This is good stuff.
Award winning.
If you want, this is a free podcast. You're getting some real value right here. Okay. We might even have Andy put these graphics up on the screen. Turn this into a recipe card.
This is a recipe swap. Not 19, but 20 Nutter Butter cookies.
Listen, I'm in at 20 Nutter Butter cookies.
Okay, 6 tablespoons butter, margarine, melted.
Delightful. I mean, we're butter and Nutter Butter already.
So far, so good.
Yeah.
8 ounces of cream cheese. Thawed for about 20 minutes. 3/4 a cup sugar.
Oh, thank God we got some sugar in there.
More peanut butter. 1 cup smooth peanut butter.
A cup of peanut butter is a lot of peanut butter.
1 teaspoon vanilla. And an 8-ounce container of Cool Whip, thawed and divided.
This serves 2, by the way.
Okay, we are crushing the cookies in a food processor. We are pouring cookies into a pie pan.
Good act out here, Mel.
Yeah. We're adding the melted butter. Blend and press into pie pan. Okay, so that's our crust.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. Then for the pie, mix the cream cheese, peanut butter, sugar, and vanilla until well blended. Stir in half of whipped topping. Pour into pie shell. Freeze for at least 4 hours. Whoa, this is a freeze pie, not a bake pie. Add other half a whipped topping and serve. This is so awesome. I'm going to say you're welcome in advance. Whoa. That's like a frozen peanut butter pie.
Yeah.
I've never had anything like that.
That sounds unbelievable.
Yeah. Andy?
Your thoughts?
You're a peanut butter guy.
It was actually the opposite. I am
You're not a peanut butter guy. Okay.
Peanut butter guy.
I'm a peanut butter guy.
I only like it in tagalongs. That's like the peanut butter patty ones. I just don't like dry peanut butter stuff. So it's got to have chocolate. It's got to have something to support it. I need a supporting character. I can't.
This one's got a crunch, but from the crust.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds good.
Sounds unbelievable.
It sounds great.
Do you think there's dairy in that?
Yes. I think it's 100% dairy. You know, we had a pie. We had some Friendsgivings, and there was peanut butter pie. Mm-hmm. I mean, I had like a bite. It's not.
It sounds very good.
Pies are very like specific. Like you're like, no, yes, I'll have a bite of that. Like, you know, like to commit to a whole piece of pie. Yeah. So the peanut butter pies that I've had, I've been like, eh.
Yeah.
But this one sounds pretty awesome.
Pretty tasty.
I love a frozen dessert.
So I've entered 2 cooking contests my entire life.
Okay.
I did a dessert one in high school, like church youth group, and then I did a chili one at the Kroc Center. Mm-hmm. I'm not a good cook. However, I am a good competitor. And so I won the chili one because the year before I observed how it worked, which is everybody makes a normal chili. You make one that's a little different. And you're going to get you're going to get a bunch of votes because you're memorable. Because if you taste 9 chilies in a row, they're all going to taste pretty chili based. Yeah. So the one that won the year before was like a white bean chili. So it was different.
Right.
Wasn't the best chili. Got the most votes. So I was like, well, I need to do something. So I did, with Melissa's help, barbecue pulled pork chili. Won in a landslide.
And it had so much...
Sweet Baby Ray's.
It had so much barbecue sauce in it.
Sweet chili.
Yeah. It was delicious. It was so good. And it didn't get any first place votes, but it got a lot of second and third place votes. There you go. And that's how you win a contest like that. The other one, I don't know if you remember this. I don't even know if you were there. It was at our friend Emily's house. They were hosting some youth group event, and we're having some dessert contest. And I didn't know how to bake, but I was like, well, I'll just look up some recipe. My dad has some old cookbooks or whatever, and I'm just going to try and figure out how to do this. And I was trying to make homemade Reese's peanut butter cups.
Okay.
And I have no idea how I pulled any of it off. But what I do remember is I didn't take it out of the freezer early enough.
It's just frozen.
So I showed up with this thing that was like rock hard. And it got third place. And the person, if you remember this name, Kim Busmeyer was the judge.
Okay.
Kim, I remember her announcing it and was like, hey, this thing was hard to get into, but it was unbelievable. And I got like third out of like 50 entries because I'll tell you, frozen peanut butter chocolate situation, it's going to get a lot of votes.
Yeah, I think that's the cheat code.
Yeah.
I think if you show up with like chocolate, peanut butter, something, you're going to be in the top 3.
Yeah.
That's just how it's going to go.
It's a winning combination. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think our kids would like this.
Yeah.
I mean... The ones that won't die from it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I could have...
It's award-winning, guys.
My blood sugar went up reading the recipe.
I grew up... Well, I lived in Texas for like 3-4 years, North Texas, Southern Baptist Church, small town, and I have a memory of frozen cookies.
Yeah.
Because we would have these camps and youth camps or day camp things, and the old ladies at the church would bake cookies and freeze them. They'd pull them out, and it'd be like 1,000,000 degrees, and serve them to us. And they were a little bit frozen.
Just a little frozen, yeah.
Oh, they were so good.
It's great.
Yep.
Delightful. I mean, we've certainly talked about frozen Thin Mints.
Yep.
All right, this is from Gregory. French high school athletics is the subject. French high school kids don't have sports teams and competitions organized by the schools like American high schools. I wonder how teen sports differently enhances life motivation skills, maybe say than academic skills. Related, I heard it is that French high schools recently having more dances than just once a year at winter holiday. Well, Gregory, I assume you're a French listener, or you live in France. Thank you for emailing and being a listener. I can speak to the last part. We do have more than one dance at American high schools. I think there's 3 historically. There's a fall one, a winter one, and a prom. Not everyone gets to go to the prom. That's a senior prom, but traditionally you have at least a winter. And if this girl, she's smirking, Melissa's smiling because Melissa went to 3 dances a year for 4 years, not to mention other schools' dances.
I went to a lot of dances.
She's so proud. You planned a lot of dances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I loved it.
I love how much you love it.
I know.
The original question of I wonder how it differently enhances life motivation skills. I mean, I can say this. It's certainly there are athletes that because you have to keep a certain GPA, it will keep some people motivated to keep their GPA up. You know, I'm not going to mention which of our children this applies to, but it certainly applies to at least one of our children that you're like, hey, I know you really love this sport, but if your GPA drops low, and that's motivating.
Well, I do. There's a book about French parenting.
Okay.
And it was popular maybe 5-10 years ago. Like, essentially, like, fold the kids into, like, adult life, but don't, like, revolve life around the kids. I don't know. That was the thesis of that book.
Yeah.
But
you ready for a hack joke?
Sure.
You mean it's not about surrendering? Sorry, you're so stupid. I couldn't.
I thought you were going to do like a croissant folding.
No, it's just, it's always the hack joke about the French surrendering. You think it'd be about surrendering. All right. Great. It's right there. It's too easy. Put me on Gutfield.
Ba-ding. We should get a little drum in here. So I don't know if that has anything to do with why they don't have youth sports in high school. But as much as we, just went on a rant about like travel sports being a cult. Yeah. The more we talk about it with parents in our field, it's like, no, this is like such a healthy outlet. Yeah. If you're getting up at 5:30 in the morning on a Saturday, I promise you're not going to be like roaming the streets at 1 a.m. Yeah. You literally can't.
The old adages that people tell you about parenting of nothing good happens after 11 p.m. or whatever, or what's the idle hands makes the devil's work or whatever. Structure and busy is good for kids. Yeah. And kind of that classic philosophy that like when your teens stop listening to you, they're going to listen to like a coach or like a different adult in their life. And so, that's why it's nice to have other adults involved in their lives, like a coach. I think it's interesting that they don't have high school sports built into their schools, because it's not that they don't have sports, though, because I know that that's not true. France is actually a very high-achieving athletic country. France won, 2 World Cups ago? They were in the last World Cup. They were the runner-up in the gold medal in basketball. They have the most freakish basketball player in history right now, Victor Wembanyama. Wembanyama? I can never say it. Wemby. We all just call him Wemby. So it's interesting that it's not built into the schools, but...
I know. I mean, like, my sister was in Japan for several years, and they only offer swim lessons through the school. So she was a homeschooler, and so her kids didn't get swim lessons because it's not like a public...
Am I right, Andy?
You know them. They're just those weirdos.
Yeah, I understand that discrimination. How could they? Can't give us access to things?
So that it does vary by country. Like, various services.
If there's one thing that Melissa and Dustin know, it's international affairs. We
around the world with Dustin and Mel.
One time I went to Canada.
Our slogan in our life is "These two idiots." Constantly, that we have amassed any amount of success in life is a pure miracle. Just these two dum-dums. Just, our heads have been under our heads. I couldn't even say it wrong. I tried to say it wrong, but I couldn't.
It would be bad if you messed up all your words.
Yeah, that's true. All right, this one right here. Dustin and Mel. During last week's, this is from Adam, concession stand food.
Yes.
During last week's episode, when Mel struggled to compliment a subpar concession stand at your daughter's volleyball tournament, I had to write to tell you about our family's experience with an above-par concession stand that my son and I still talk about today. 7 years ago, we were invited to attend a basketball game being played by a member of our church's youth group. I was the new pastor at the time. It was a small Christian school. And
we have such a specific audience.
Some of them, absolutely. Yeah. And their concession stand blew me away and included food that was entirely homemade by families from the school. This is up Andy's, down at, up at, I said it wrong that time. Yeah.
Down Andy's out.
Down at, yeah. Their concession stand blew me away. I'm talking homemade cookies, desserts, and legit hot food items you'd never expect to find at a high school concession stand. Being used to the typical underwhelming items like pizza and nachos, we found it both odd and satisfying to watch a high school football or a high school basketball game while eating a nice bowl of chicken tortilla soup, Melissa said, with a side salad and homemade frosted sugar cookies. I don't remember who won the game. It didn't matter. Our stomachs were the real winner that night. Love the podcast. My wife and I just bought tickets for your Cleveland show. See you in June.
Oh my gosh,
that's what a fun idea. Mm-hmm. It's gotta you can barely get parents to commit to working the snack bar, but
oh yeah, we had one wrestling all day Saturday tournament where they did, some of these moms made breakfast tacos in the morning, and then by the afternoon they were offering like 3 types of meat tacos, like a taco plate.
Yeah.
I mean,
awesome.
You just sat in the stands and just like, you're like, this is the best day of my life. I'm so full of the most delicious homemade food.
Well, one thing that I was not, when we moved to San Diego, what I did not fully anticipate and like I wouldn't have known to look forward to was being in community with Mexican families, and it absolutely changing gatherings in a way I was not prepared for.
Yeah,
like the first time the first time your friend brings over homemade guac, you're like, what? We've been eating at Azteca, the worst Mexican restaurant I've ever gone to in hindsight.
The only Mexican restaurant
in like the Seattle area that we had, just your classic like bland,
it's like enchiladas,
like
beans
whatever chain restaurant up there.
Yeah.
Taco Time. We thought Taco Time was a good Mexican restaurant in the Northwest. And
Del Taco.
Del Taco's California, but regardless, or like the first time you're at some, I mean, we're going to talk about Little League today, some Little League thing today, and you're just expecting hot dogs, and then there's carne asada. You're like, what just happened?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. You didn't know the Lopez's rolling into the ceremonial 4th of July or the opening day.
Or like tamales. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
They're just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Especially when they roll up with an entire plancha, pulling it off the truck. You're like, we're making them here.
Yeah. The first Christmas gathering that you're at with your preschool, and the Martinez's bring homemade tamales. You're like, excuse me?
Yeah. Mexican street corn. Yeah.
I do not miss Christmas in the Northwest, the song or the experience. Have we ever played that song for you?
Yeah.
It's
unbelievable. We played it on the show.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, as we like to say, and we try to explain to the podcast and everyone in San Diego, is chicken teriyaki is the Mexican food in Seattle.
Oh, we went.
Nobody believes us, and you just got to go try it. It's different.
Everything's.
There.
I mean, when
It's
we
different there.
so we'll talk about it next week. But I was in the Bay with Joel last week doing college visits, and we went to Chinatown and SF, and you're just we popped out at one Japanese restaurant, just one, and Joel got ramen that he's like, this might be the best ramen I've ever had, and Gloria got sushi that was like, this might be the best sushi I've ever had, and you're like, yeah, we all regions have specialties, and Mexican is ours here. So, well, good stuff. Thanks for the email, Adam, and very food-based early episode here for us,
Sure.
Making me hungry.
Yeah.
Yep. Coming off the snack bracket and all that.
Snack bracket. This is going to stay in, we're going to do a little weekend recap.
Okay.
So I guess, we can do it here. So I couldn't remember if I was doing the college visit stuff here, but so last week, I kind of have a week recap and a weekend recap. So last week, we're doing college visits for Joel, and Joel's wrestling through whether or not he's gonna. It's more complicated than the traditional college experience because Joel looks like he's probably gonna run in college. He hasn't fully decided whether or not he's going to. So we just did it. We knocked out a few colleges in the Bay in Northern California. University of San Francisco, San Jose State, and then Cal State, Monterey Bay. So we were just in NorCal, dinking around up there. It's great. I couldn't love Northern California more. I don't have any desire to live there because I am addicted to warm weather. But it's great. It was really fun being up there.
It was the teens were on spring break. Yeah. So Gloria tagged along too.
Yeah.
You guys hit Alcatraz.
We did some tours.
And the aquarium at Monterey Bay.
I cannot recommend, of the touristy things in America that I can recommend, Alcatraz might be my number one.
Oh, wow.
I think number one is but
do you think there's an age range? Because when our kids were like 8, 5, and 2, we were like,
I'd say double digits and up.
Yeah.
Because it is very much a jail tour. So I went there in high school, and I've told you about this before. I went there in high school, and I loved it. And I took the kids there, and you put on little headphones. Have you done it?
No, I actually haven't because I didn't go before having kids.
And I haven't gone either.
Yeah.
The last time we were in SF, we did that boat tour.
We did. It wasn't a boat tour. We walked around the marina.
No, but we went on a ship, like an old time ship.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Because our kids were younger.
Yeah.
Use the flagpole.
We saw the seals.
It
was great. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like an old time ship.
I don't think it was a licensed tour of any type, though.
No, we just dinked around on a ship. It was cool.
Yeah.
It was just some guy's boat. He was just like, tourist, huh? Come on. I got this.
It was part of the national parks. Like, it was a ship that we could walk around on.
Yeah.
We had a good time.
We had a good time.
Yeah.
It was some open ship that we walked around on. They're blurry years.
And then we got Ghirardelli's.
Great.
Yeah.
I mean, the wharf is very touristy, but there are the Fisherman's Wharf is very touristy, but the Bread Bowl clam chowder is worth the hype, and the fish and chips is great, and a bunch of the pier stuff is very fun. They have that like old, weird, cool arcade there. I forget the name of it.
We went there.
Yeah, which is fun. And, you can see the painted ladies. It's all right there. San Francisco's great. I've hyped San Francisco so many times on this podcast. But Alcatraz, so I took our 17-year-old and 15-year-old, and I went when I was in high school, like with our
band
jazz band trip that we went down on, and we went to Alcatraz. And you go out, you take a little cruise.
Ferry.
It's like a 30 minute little ferry ride or whatever, and you go out and you get there and you can walk around, and the whole island has a lot of the stuff you can look at. But the actual part in the prison, you have headphones and it's a guided tour, and the listeners or the audio, the voices are former guards and inmates, and they'll be like, look at this picture, walk down here, this is called Broadway, this is where this happened, and there's all these quotes and sound effects. So it's a guided tour. I've never, our kids didn't look at their phones for the whole tour. which was remarkable. And you go into some of the cells, and they show you where they made the little like
cool.
paper mache things for the guys that tried to escape or may not have successfully escaped and stuff. It's awesome. I highly recommend it. It's so great.
Yeah, I mean we've been at art museums that have this too.
Yeah,
but
art can't compete with a jail. For
jail
a teenage
in
boy,
history has a lot more components
with sound effects, gunshots and stuff going on in the back. You hear like prison door closing a lot. And there's like one
immersive.
Yeah, there's one. There's like an area they talk about like for this hour they were allowed to play music. So there's like music going on in the back, and it's great. It's really good. So I can't. Yeah, big fan of it. So anyway, so we do that, and we have exactly one college visit to do a day, and then we're free, and that's just the right amount of commitment that it's still kind of fun. In that, so Monterey and San Jose, I was like, and San Francisco was very easy because it's a major city, but I'm always looking for good coffee on the road, right? Mm-hmm. Jordan Kasner, comedian based in Portland, barista, Jordan.
I know Jordan.
It's great. Told me about Sprudge.com. This is not a sponsored ad right here.
This is a coffee shop website?
So Sprudge, I looked into it. Sprudge is the little coffee stain that you get, the little coffee on like your apron and stuff. That's what Sprudge is, No,
I've never heard of it.
Go to Sprudge Maps. I couldn't wait to tell Andy this. Find a cafe. And this is like
some high-end coffee.
This is high-end stuff.
This is some hipster coffee.
Go to location, type in your location, and they're going to make you just type in San Diego. See what types. San Diego. You're gonna have to hit enter. It's not the. There you go, San Diego.
I like that they say type and hit enter.
Yeah, it's not the cleanest website.
But very informative.
Very informative. Give it a little search.
See the red
I
search
typed
box?
it and said enter. Now what?
I think
you see the search is on the far the red.
Yeah,
box?
I do. But what are we doing?
Oh, okay. Maybe click it. I don't know.
I think you might have. Did we?
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Sorry.
It's thinking now.
I think it's trying.
It's been the worst advertisement. There we go. And now here are the ones that they've reviewed and recommend.
Oh,
so they've been to
okay.
these.
I like that.
Wow.
Yes.
And this. I haven't even heard of half of these. I live in this city.
I
know. There's so much coffee down
I've
here.
heard
It's
of Communal.
unreal.
Communal is great.
Yeah,
Communal's one of my favorite.
Sir is great.
Sir is north, right? We're going up to San Clemente now.
Coffee's good because this is in Escondido. They have one in Escondido.
James Coffee North Park.
Yeah, James is good. They haven't done anything in. We got a few.
Who's number
near
3?
Oceanside now.
It's
Carlsbad.
not ranked, Mel. It's
No. Okay, no. I just wanted to know that. Okay, so they don't have any in La Mesa.
Yeah, because
which
they
is
haven't even
fine.
hit Public Square yet.
Yeah.
You know.
Just fun.
Isn't this amazing?
Log in. Oh, so you can log in and create your own little list. Ooh, and then you got
so
your
excited.
You got your own little bookmark section.
Melissa loves local recommendations more than anything.
Yes, I love this.
Andy loves food and reviews. I've been sitting on this for 3 weeks, and I haven't told you two about it. Because I wanted to get your live reaction.
I love this. I'm
surprised this isn't your website.
These are, I know, and actually there was another app that my friends were on for a while. I forgot it already though, so it doesn't matter. So it's like I'm glad that now that this is here again. Yep. There is a new guy that has a coffee passport in Orange County, which is new. So it's like a passport book, and like you go around to all the shops, and they actually can partner with them. I think you can get a stamp and like kind of do a little like
love it.
Just so similar.
Well, I used it like 5 times over the weekend.
This is awesome.
I went to Estate Coffee in San Antonio, in addition to Merritt. I always go to Merritt, and
very cool.
The one in Monterey was like Stoker, something like that.
Oh,
Bram Stoker's.
I went to a place in Monterey.
There's only one.
No, there was one like near the wharf, like Captain something, and it's great.
Captain plus Stoker.
There it is.
Yeah. We were.
I love it. Same brain.
Yeah. You just stay.
I just finished the sentence.
Yeah, I took the kids here too, and they really liked it. And the one in San Jose, Captain Plus Stoker is very good. And the one in San Jose is like right by the campus, so it was perfect. So,
And then Verve is in Santa Cruz. So I don't know if you.
I've been to Verve a million times. Oh, yeah, they have Verve in LA too. So yeah, it's great. So, anyways, sprudge.com.
Wow.
I said it in my ad voice there.
Yeah.
You're never going to use this without me, Melissa, but I'm just like, there's no version of you traveling and not, just looking this up on your own. But
right. Mm-hmm.
All right, we need to get into talk about Chappell Roan. So, on of all the things, I don't even know if we're going to get to the main topic. I think Chappell Roan might be our main topic here today. Is that okay with you, Melissa?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
So on Call Her Daddy podcast, Chappell Roan was doing an interview. It was like an hour. And as is the case with almost every hour interview that you ever do, a couple little things get pulled.
Yeah.
And that ends up being the main thing that gets discussed. But they were asking, she was asked if she wanted to have kids. And if kids are going to be in her future. And this was the quote that everyone was talking about. So talking about parenting, Chappell said, all of my friends who have kids are in hell. I actually don't know anyone who's happy and has children at this age. She's talking about her friends, a 1-year-old, 3-year-old, 4 and under, 5 and under. I've literally not met anyone who's happy, anyone who has light in their eyes, who has slept. Mm-hmm. Mel, so you saw this. We talked about it yesterday. We haven't discussed it together. What are your initial instincts as a mom when you read this? Keeping in mind that Chappell Roan is 27.
Yeah.
Single. Mm-hmm.
She's from the Midwest.
She's from the Midwest.
I think if you are 27 with several little children or one to multiple, and your friend is like the hottest like rock star in the world, like that's gonna be too big of like a chasm.
Oh yeah.
I
think that is true.
Because it's a comparison.
Right.
So like if Chappell goes back to the Midwest and gets a coffee or gets a drink with a friend, they're like, what was your weekend like?
Yeah.
I was at the music awards. I was touring the world. I sold out, all these shows.
Yeah.
And, went platinum or whatever.
Right.
And I'm blowing up on TikTok, and then they're just like I can't sleep. I barely eat. I don't shower.
They're like, I've had 4 Costco hot dogs this week.
Yeah,
and that was the good part of my week.
I just got Bluey on repeat and over and over.
Yeah.
It's repetitive. Like little kid parenting is repetitive. It's boring. It's mind numbing. There we go. Mumming.
There it is.
And so, having a famous musician friend is, you can't compare your lives. You can't. I mean, it's just too different.
Yeah, I mean, I think our first friends that had kids, Micah and Lindsay, I remember so vividly when we were married and didn't have kids, which was not a long window, just looking at their lives, you're like, I can't even imagine having a child. What?
No, you're like, why can't you guys get out of the car? I remember we went to Thai food with them, and Landon was just like standing in between them in a booth, like stealing all of their attention.
Yeah.
And he was like 2 or 3, and we're all like having dinner, but we're like, are we having dinner? Like, mostly we're just watching your kid, talk to you guys.
Yeah.
and I mean, that's just a 2-3-year-old at dinner time.
Yeah.
They want full attention from both their parents.
And they need it and deserve it. Yeah, because they're the kid.
But when you're just like a single or, young adult, like Chappell, you're like, why won't you talk to me? Like, I spent the time to come out to dinner with you. Why are you so distracted by your kid? Mm-hmm. And why can't you get out of the car? And why do you always cancel on me? And why is your kid always sick? Like, what's wrong with your kid?
Mm-hmm. What's wrong with your kid?
Because you just don't know.
You don't know,
like every day as a parent, you're like, I mean, I could answer the phone, but like the baby just threw up on me.
Yeah.
And like I need to like eat before the baby wakes up again.
Yeah.
Because all of the kids' needs come before your own needs or your friends' needs or plans.
Right.
So it's a huge switch.
Yeah.
And I think that's super common. Like young new parents do really struggle to maintain their friendships.
100%. Yeah.
Especially if they don't have kids yet, because you're like, hey, are you going to accept this new version of me? Which is like a parent.
Yeah.
Like my identity has changed.
Yeah.
And and you're actually looking for parent friends because now you're in this new realm and you need support.
Right.
And typically a parent can relate to you better than a non-parent friend.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I think that we felt that as non-parents, and we felt that when we had young kids and our friends who hadn't had kids yet. And we weren't the biggest pop star in the world. Like you said, like the chasm between someone with kids and without kids is already pretty great.
Yeah, we just described it.
Yeah, but then you add to the fact that she is who she is, and you're just some mom in Missouri. I mean, there's no way you could relate to one another. There's no... it's honestly, it's sad because you the parent is in a different life stage and then it's what you already said, but it's sad because pop stars need support and young parents need support. Right. But they might not be the ones to support each other. Exactly. And that's where you're like, it's sad that your childhood friends don't understand you at all. Like as the new parent and as the pop star. Yeah. Yeah. Because they're jealous. They're jealous of this insane life that 1 in a billion people get to have. Yeah. Maybe they're jealous. Maybe they're not. I don't think everyone's jealous. I think I think some people are jealous and then other people are judgmental. That's true. It's unattainable for most. Yeah. We have a small fraction of that. You have to win the lottery, Yeah. But go ahead. People don't know how to interact with celebrity. Yeah. And people don't know how to act when you have, because we've had it where you just suddenly have someone that you just knew and that person gets mega famous. You're like, oh, this changed the dynamic a bit, especially if you didn't know them super well or you grew up with them or something. That can be, just well, that dynamic maybe shifted a bit. But I think it's really, it's definitely it's very clickbaity, a lot of the responses. Yeah. Did a lot of moms were very offended by this? Were you offended by it? Either of you?
I mean, I think my initial take is oh, what an original take. Right. Right. Oh, it's I mean, if she was hey, I don't know, maybe she did. If she's hey, I raised my brothers and sisters. She said, so she looks back, so she was in a family of 4, so she was a big family, and she did
4 kids.
She did talk about how I don't know how my mom did it. I think her mom might have been a bit under her head. All right, under her head. There we go. All right. Well, so there's a backstory.
Is she the oldest?
Yeah.
So I mean,
there's always a backstory.
There's always a backstory, right?
Oldest daughter?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's, raising little kids is hard. Yeah. The parents are going to tell you that. And sometimes the life is draining from your eyes. But then once you're an actual parent and you're doing it, the benefits outweigh the cost. You know what I mean? That's quote unquote the joy of parenting. So but I mean, a rock star with a hot take that's not a parent, taking a take on parents, okay. Yeah.
This is being all teachers are in hell or all nurses are in hell. These are tough jobs. Tough jobs. They're not, you don't get a lot of praise, but they are rewarding, in the sense that you're physically and tangibly meeting needs and, teaching the young folks. And so that's the same thing with parenting. Yeah.
Listen, for what it's worth, I know more versions of the Power Rangers songs right now than I know Chappell Roan songs. Yeah. And my mind has been blown in the past 3 months of realizing how hard these songs go. So.
Yes. I know. You're I'm all in the weeds with Pokemon.
Right. Do you think that okay, so I've put a lot of thought in this, but I have not come to any form of conclusion on it. I think that is like I'm not even really sure where to go. Like go please. I have some more thoughts too, but I
haven't looked into this article and this as much as you this topic.
It's pretty much just this quote.
Okay, but yeah.
I mean, there was some context to it around it,
Scary Mommy on Instagram made some content about this quote.
What they have to say.
And what they were saying was like, yeah, mothers don't feel supported.
Yeah.
Like childcare costs are increasing and parents have to work more with inflation. And so it's just like it was hard and now it's getting harder. Mm-hmm. Like the village is gone, like you don't.
I've seen
live by your family.
Almost like, hey, with all that influence, rather than like ditching on families, why don't you help stop Medicaid from getting cut so the parents aren't losing their lives?
I've seen a lot of people going like, hey man, this is really anti-mom, and like this is like a woman bringing down women. But I actually think that some of her heart and intent, and is to present a life like this could be a hyperbolic response to, like an over-the-top exaggerated response to, you don't have to have kids to have a fulfilled life. And I agree with that sentiment. Yeah. So sometimes you maybe speak in more extreme phrases to make your point, and listen, she's a pop star. I mean,
she's 27.
Listen, John Lennon said they were bigger than Jesus. Like, you say provocative things in interview when you're a pop star. This is what you do, Well,
and also, this is like kind of that like, would a 27-year-old man get asked this question?
Well, so interestingly enough,
about kids,
So Seth Rogen essentially said the same thing in it about him and his partner, and it got no press. Like you didn't know that until I brought this up, and this just set the internet on fire, which does speak a lot to this idea that like I brought that up, like she's 27, everybody chill. Like, but there is that, like, are you going to have kids? Because if so, you better have a kid soon. You better have your kids soon. Better have kids then. And then you're like, oh, Robert De Niro's a new dad again.
I think it reminds me of Taylor Tomlinson, because her first special is Quarter Life Crisis, and it's all about friends getting married. Yeah. And like her life going in a different direction.
Which we felt the other side of that, because we got married young. You told me when we got married young that you felt very lonely in college because you had no one to relate to.
I went from the dorms to like a little house.
Queen of the dorms. Dances all the time.
Just planning.
Yeah.
Planning events. I was surrounded by people, and I'm extroverted.
Yeah.
And then I was like alone. Yeah. All the time.
My first thought, like, I was like a defensive parent about this. Like, how dare you say that we don't have happiness? And then I thought about how, do you think, as a mom of three, who's been through all these seasons of life, like, is it a parent's job to speak overly negative, positive, realistic about parenting? Because I do think that this is probably a response to her friends complaining. Sure. And like, that's a thing that parents do, is we complain about parenting. And I think non-parents, a lot of time they say things like, well, why did you even have kids at all? Sure. But on the flip side of that, you can give a very misguided view of parenting if you only post the photo shoots, the happy baby, your baby in a pumpkin, like with a little smile on their face. You know what I mean? Like,
I think it's like cathartic for parents to like kind of complain about the hard parts of parenting. Yeah. But I also know that a lot of people complain about like their boyfriends, and their husbands and their spouses and their partners, and that can also be cathartic. Yeah. So, I mean,
you know what?
If you're lonely, misery loves company. Yeah. I mean, that's like what you're saying.
Yeah, and
it's kind of like rich people complaining about taxes.
it's complaining about your remodel.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're like, that really sucks. It's also pretty cool that you own property and are able to afford a remodel.
My guess is that Chappell Roan has things in her life that she complains about that her mom friends are like, those aren't real problems, or maybe that's a problem to you, or it's not. And the reality is they're both right. Like, she is right that that's upsetting to her and that is hard for her and it sucks for her. And the mom is right about that too. But it doesn't mean you can't still be overall quite happy with your life, even though you like, what was the word you used? Like, you do need to, it's cathartic. It's very cathartic for parents to complain.
Yes.
Very cathartic. And there is...
It's a selfless job.
There is probably a lesson in complaining to non-parents here.
Sure.
Like, it can... They aren't the ones to be cathartic to, you know?
Yeah, and it is a little... I am struggling with the word, but like to reduce parenting to like... it's just they don't have any happiness in their life.
Right.
That's like a reductionist. Like, it's not that simple. You know, you can be tired and still grateful.
You cannot say the statement, I've literally not met anyone who's happy, and not expect some pushback, because that is quite a whoa, that's the one right there. But what I would say about this is I have a lot of thoughts on this, and they're still percolating. But first off, it's easier as comments like this happen, and people like Chappell Roan probably have a perception of parenting like people like Chappell Roan probably see parenting like this because it is easier to commiserate as a parent than it is to articulate the magic of parenting. It is very hard to find words of how beautiful and fulfilling parenting is. It's very hard to find those words. I speak for a living, and I've never found the words to articulate how wonderful and happy and beautiful parenting is. There are things that are deeper than I can find words for. However, it is very easy to complain about a potty training 3-year-old. Yep. That is very easy to complain about, and easy and important to commiserate over.
Yeah.
However, it is a little bit of the job of the parent, and we can do better as parents of this, to search to find those words and to try and give a more realistic, full...
Like a holistic...
holistic view of parenting.
It's like a short-term problem, but a long-term, like, joy.
Yes.
You know, because potty training is a short-term problem. It's going to be rough for several months.
Parenting is the best example of something can be very hard and very good.
Yeah, it's very rewarding.
It's the most rewarding thing.
We have a senior son, senior in high school, and, we break down and cry all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
The closest comparison that I can think of is exercise. That's the closest comparison that I can think of that the act of exercising is not enjoyable. It's actually quite painful. It hurts. You're
out of your comfort zone.
You're out of breath. You're out of your comfort zone. But the reward, that joy, is you feel good. It's very rewarding. It's very fulfilling.
Longevity.
Now take that physical feeling and add it to like a depth and a soul. I just don't know how to articulate parenting. The joys of it. It is easy to articulate the hardships of it, but I don't think that you realize that like a lot of these parents are miserable and they have to, but part of the fulfillment of parenting is the camaraderie that you have with other parents going through that, it doesn't,
the struggle brings you closer together with like your partner and with other parents and with your child. Because you've been in 18 years you'll go through so many ups and downs.
Right.
Yeah.
When I first read the quote from Chappell Roan, I've literally not met anyone who's happy, anyone who has light in their eyes, who has slept about parenting. I was very offended as a parent. And then I remembered her context is she is talking about mothers of young children in Missouri, and winter just ended. These poor moms have been locked in their homes in Missouri in the dark cold for 4 months. They are in hell. Absolutely. Like, they're de-thawing. Everything's opening up a little bit. Like, the winter months with a toddler are hell. They're tough months because you just wake up. There's nothing to do. There's nothing to do.
You can only play in the snow so much.
Yeah, it's only fun for a little bit, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then you got everything's wet and it's a mess.
The days are short.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
it's dark.
Your hours are numbered.
Yeah. Yeah, toddler, winter, Midwest, 3-year-old. I was offended, and then I was like, hell might not be a strong enough word. Like, that is a totally different level.
Tough season.
I also think, and I remember this as a non-parent, like, you can't imagine being happy if you aren't sleeping well.
I mean, like, losing sleep is a form of torture.
Yeah, 100% it is. It's an actual form of torture.
And so your baseline is like you're exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I mean, touring as an artist is also you're losing sleep.
Not compared to parenting.
It's tough. But I mean, you're just constantly meeting demands. It's with a newborn or a little baby, your toddler. Yeah, they just need so much from you. They're so dependent on their parents.
If Chappell Roan said this to your face, what would you say? When she said, I've never met anyone who's happy, anyone who's light in their eyes, who has slept, therefore I don't want to have kids. What would you say?
I mean, my heart goes out to young parents with young kids.
Yeah.
Because you do need support.
Right.
And clearly not everyone's getting enough support.
Right.
You know? So, I mean, it's not true, you know?
Yeah.
There's tons of joy in life with young children.
Right.
But it comes back to support.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Like, so, like, parents need breaks. You know? And stuff like that. So
I think there's a real irony of this because I think her song was the Pink Pony Club, and I thought that was a kid show when it first came out. I mean, people are just living in different lives, by the way. I think if Chappell Roan said this thing to me as a father of 3 for 17 years, I would say they're even more tired than you realize, but they're even happier than you realize.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched tons of little 11-year-olds sing Pink Pony Club together. And they're having a lot of joy. They're having a blast. Yeah. So her music is providing joy to tweens and teens and to parents because watching your child enjoy something brings you joy.
Oh, that's an interesting thing. You know what actually brings some parents joy? Seeing your kids sing her songs.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. So, and I know some of them go to her shows and I have a 5th grader and a lot of her friends love Chappell Roan. So
yeah. And the funny thing too is like if she's right, then even then as those parents grow, then they're just heroes. I mean, if you're seeing like, hey, look at it's like if she's like saying, look at how bad it is, it's like there's going to be plenty of parents that you know now that you're seeing it this way. They're going to come on the other side and they're going to be like joyful, incredible parents, and now that's going to be something you envy, right? Because it's like you're saying, I don't want to pick that because it's that hard. Yeah, but it's like because what you do is easier. She's saying that her job does not look as hard as what they do. That's what she's saying.
Oh, that's interesting.
So it's like the flip side of that coin is then when those parents get on the other side of that hill, then the only option you're going to have is like admiration.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it, and she is being sympathetic there. That is like a nice way to look at it. And
I don't get offended by what she said. I just don't agree with it. Yeah. But there are seasons that are really hard as a parent, and maybe it's not when your child's little. It depends on your kid. It depends on your life.
That's a great point. Yeah.
You know? So, there's hard seasons in parenting for sure. You will not not all be easy and joyful.
I know some very happy parents and some very unhappy parents. And I know some very happy non-parents and some miserable non-parents.
Yeah.
Happiness is not attached to whether or not you have children, not even in the least. And if Chappell Roan said to me, if you have kids, you are in hell, I would say yes, at times, but it's worth it. It's, in my experience, there are moments that
for you, it's worth it for you.
We've talked about this a lot before. Yeah, for me, it's absolutely worth it. And it's even harder than you imagine. We're even more tired than you imagine, but it's even more fulfilling than you could ever imagine. But yeah, no, getting your toddler in Missouri during the winter sucks. All right, well, that's our episode today, everybody. Thanks for turning up.
Turn it up.
All right, bye.
All right, bye.
Hey, everybody, want to give a special thanks to our Essential as Oils patrons. That's our $25 a month and up. Thank you so much for contributing to the podcast. First off is Adam Bush,
Averill Griffiths,
Allison Nelson,
Andy and Darlene Girton,
Avery Starr,
Bonnie Galindo,
Brandon Schoenberger,
Carrie Teague,
Christopher and Bridget Finland,
Code to Grow,
Courtney Eibling,
Dam Eris Diaz Stevens,
Daniel Owens,
Dave and Melissa Koch,
Dave Hoagland,
Dustin Daly,
Jason and Francis White,
Jen Thurk,
Jessica Hanrahan,
Jonathan Ribera,
Jordan Cowan,
Juliana Smith,
Lori Amos,
Lauren and Nick Rachel,
Matt and Sam Slosdom,
Michelle Caslon,
Nicole Carraz,
Nick Cordell,
Norman Perrin, sorry, Norman,
Preston and Rachel Wilson,
Rachel Kennedy,
Raina Camps,
Robert and Nellie Capon,
Scott Elliott,
Stephen Menya, and Tiffany Payne. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.